Hey everyone, so this is the Vlogtober, where I am now and how I've changed or something like that. So a lot has changed in my life, especially within the past year. And unfortunately for the most part it's been all very traumatic and really bad stuff. So I guess I'll begin with the first downfall, and this whole video isn't going to be about negative things too. I will touch upon some positive aspects on how my life has changed as well, but my story unfortunately starts with a lot of pain and accidents and all sorts of stuff. So a couple years ago, my boyfriend and I were living in an apartment building, and I've lived in that apartment building since I was 6 years old, and my mom and my grandma owned it, so I've been living there forever. And then my boyfriend and I were lucky enough to get our own apartment there, and then unfortunately my mom lost the house due to foreclosure, and we lost our house. So my boyfriend and I tried to fight it, but you can't really do anything. It was like the most horrible thing ever. It just put a lot of stress on me, and I would have panic attacks all the time because I would have to do these depositions and all this legal stuff, and it just really wasn't fair. And then finally I went to the final court hearing, and then the judge was just like, I've blocked it out of my head what even really happened, but he just basically said that our case, we didn't have a lawyer or anything, so we had to defend ourselves. And I guess, the legal system screws people like us that are poor and struggling, and just, I can't afford a lawyer, so we had no choice but to defend ourselves, and ultimately they won. And all I can remember is hearing that, and I knew it was coming, and I thought it was going to happen, and I think my boyfriend did more, but just hearing the judge say that and knowing that it was a legal thing, that I was going to get evicted, I burst out hysterically crying and ran out of the courtroom, and just was in the hallway, and I just collapsed. Like, we were lucky that we were at the end of the hallway, so here's the door, and then there was a little in cave here with like a water fountain, and I just went in there, and I just completely fell to the ground and just sobbing, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Luckily my grandma, since she's an elder, was able to keep her apartment there, but since my mom got kicked out of her apartment, she had to move in with my grandma. So that has been really tough on her as well as me, and it's just really tough for me because I'm used to seeing them every day, and I can't. My grandma's getting really old, she's about 87, so I like to spend as much time with her as I can, but I'll get into why we had to move further away from her. So the next thing that happened after we got evicted, so we moved into my boyfriend's parents' house because we had nowhere else to go, and yeah, we had nowhere else to go. So we moved back with him, and I had a job, a really good paying job. I was making $17 an hour. I was doing really good, and then they decided to fire me probably not even a month after they knew I got evicted. And it really sucked because this girl that I worked with, we became really close friends, and in the end I just feel like she betrayed me. We were really close friends, and I tried to help her. She had a lot of really bad things going on in her life. Her stepdad passed away. I really tried to be there for her and be a supportive friend, but ultimately in the end she was just very distant, and then very awkward and just strange with me and wouldn't interact with me, and it just made me feel horrible. Like, thinking about it right now makes me want to cry, and I know she felt the same way, but she wasn't humble enough to admit that a lot of it was her fault too, because I did reach out to her a lot and I tried really hard to be her friend after she started acting weird and being distant from me, but ultimately I think she was the one that aided in me getting fired. I think if we had still been friends, I wouldn't have been fired from my job. So what happened was, I was really, really sick. A client had, they actually mocked me for this, which I think is so, it just really hurt me because I was not lying, like, and they were mocking me like it was stupid. But anyways, I remember this client, he sneezed on me, like in my face practically, and it was really gross, like so disgusting. You can only imagine how disgusting that was. And he's like a really gross, like big, heavy set, nasty dude, and he's really creepy. And then I got sick a couple days later, so I was like, oh great, it was that guy. So I was really sick, and I usually worked 4 days, Friday through Monday, and I worked all 4 of the days even though I was sick, and then I tried to rest and get better on my days off, but I was just getting worse. So I came in to work on next Friday when I was scheduled to work, and I was still, I knew that they were gonna freak out if I called in sick because they didn't have anyone to cover me. That was a big thing with them too, is if anyone got sick or there was emergencies, there was nobody to cover the other person, which was really unprofessional, and that ultimately was screwing me because I had to work sick. So, you know, I came in sick and I just was like dying. And for those of you that don't know, I have asthma, so when I get sick, especially respiratory thing, it's especially bad with me. And I cough a lot, and the place that I worked at, there was smoke and stuff, so it was just really bad. So they were really nice, and they were like, oh yeah, go home, like you're sick. They sent me home. They were so nice. Like, I still think about it sometimes, that I feel like they were overly nice. Like, they were thinking like, oh, this is it. Like, I don't know. But so I went home and I went to sleep, and I got up around like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and then I got a phone call from one of my coworkers, and he's only a year older than me, but he was one of the managers. So he called me and he was saying all this stuff like, don't come into work, and I was like, oh, well, I was planning on coming into work, it's okay, you know, I know I'm sick, but, you know, I have to work. And he's like, oh, well, we're not scheduling you, we don't have room for you. That's like exactly what he said. And I was like, so what does that mean? And he didn't say anything, so I was like, so you're firing me? And then he was like, yes. So he didn't even he couldn't even say, I'm firing you. And one of my other managers was like, oh, it was so hard on him to having to fire you. And I literally said this, sorry for swearing, but I said, fuck you. You're worrying about him, who fired me, and how hard it was for him to fire me, yet I'm the one without a job, just got evicted, and I'm the one that got fired. So don't fucking tell me that it was hard for him. So basically I just had a meltdown and freaked out because we just lost our house and I lost my job, so I just felt like everything was just completely falling apart. And what really hurt me the most about that job is it's the longest job that I ever held, and I made a lot of very, very, very close friendships and relationships with clients as well as people that I worked with, and in the end I just feel like it was all just a big joke and fake, because they just cut me out. And then so the worst part about that is I filed for unemployment because I'd been working there for almost 2 years, and I needed, you know, I was trying to have money so I could move out, and they had the nerve to they filed a, they basically filed like a claim, like saying my unemployment was invalid, which wasn't true, because they were saying that they fired me for valid reasons, but the reason why they actually fired me was for being sick, which is not legal. So I was given unemployment. Unemployment actually sent me like $400, and then I got this notice saying that they were trying to make it so I couldn't get unemployment, my previous employer. So I made a really good case. I had to go in front of this unemployment judge, and I did so well. I was so proud of myself, and the person that they sent, the guy that fired me, was a complete idiot. He was completely stoned. I know he was completely high when he was talking to the judge. He couldn't remember the day he fired me. He couldn't remember what he told me. And he even said this really petty thing that just made me so mad. He was like, oh, well, her mom called in sick for her, as if that was something wrong. And I said, excuse me, my mother called in sick for me because I was having an asthma attack and I could not fucking breathe or talk. So yeah, I'm really going to call you and tell you that. So that was really petty. I remember one time I was really having chest pains, and I called them and I was like, my chest hurts, and they just hung up on me. With them, they were like, absences is a big problem with you, but the reality of it was that they didn't have people to cover me. So of course the absences affected them a lot because they didn't have anyone to cover me. So ultimately I don't really feel like I did anything wrong. So they denied my unemployment, and I have been having to pay unemployment back a bunch of money every month. Yeah, I have to pay unemployment back. So like, they already stabbed me in the back by just pulling. They didn't even warn me that I was going to be fired or anything. Like, I didn't get written notices. That was another thing I told the judge. I didn't get written notices. I didn't get written warnings or verbal warnings. I maybe got one verbal warning. And they still deny my unemployment, and I just completely cut ties with everyone there. And what really hurts me the most was the fact that they knew how hurt I was. Like, I told a lot of them some really personal things that was going on with my life, how we lost our house, you know, I came in sobbing when we had to move out, and I just feel like it was just all a big joke. Like, it's made me really question trusting people, and it's made me have a really negative outlook on a lot of the bosses and jobs that I've had since then, especially people that do bad things, because I had this other boss that tried to take money from me and it was crazy. But ultimately I just felt, and still do feel, it's been so long, betrayed and hurt, and part of me still wants to chew them out, but I haven't really resorted to that yet. I always thought that would be petty and kind of immature, but part of me still, even to this day, just wants to tell this one specific boss that I had. Just, he had the nerve to tell me that I needed to work out, and he's fat too, so that says a lot about him. Anyways, moving on. After I lost my job, I realized that just probably took 5 minutes to talk about. After I lost my job, we moved in with, like I said, we'd already moved in with Daniel's parents. So, the next thing that happened was my uncle passed away in January. And that was really hard on me. I have experienced another death. A friend of mine was murdered about, man, I can't even believe it's been that long. It's been almost 5 years from the beginning of September. And somehow I just knew to send my uncle a letter, and he got it the day he died. He read it the morning before he passed, and then he passed away that evening, so that was really hard on me. And seeing my father figure lose his brother, the last family member he really has, was just agonizing for me, and that's been really hard. And then in March, I was out with a friend, and we wanted to go out to dinner, so we came back to my house just to get changed and stuff. And as I turned the corner to go up my block, I saw all these fire engines and paramedics and stuff, and you know, driving up the street is just the longest. I can still relive it in my head. I was just saying to my friend, please don't be in my house, please don't be in my house, and then I just turned to her and was just like, that's my fucking house, like. And then I don't even remember what happened. I just busted out of the car, almost tried to go in the house. Of course, the firefighters freaked out just because I wanted to look for my dog. Firefighters are the most amazing people. I admire firefighters so much for such hard work they do, and they risk their lives, and they're just such sweet, genuine people, especially ones that helped us. But my boyfriend had taken the dog and his mom before it even got there, so I didn't even get a phone call about this. I just pulled up to it, and my room was next to the room that caught fire. The reason why the fire started was my boyfriend's brother, I'm pretty sure, had a lit cigarette and it went on his mattress, so that's another really big reason why I'm against cigarettes. And it's unfortunate that I already knew, like, I predicted that was going to happen. Just knew it. It was a matter of time, unfortunately. And I always complained and bitched, like, don't smoke in the house, like, because of asthma and it's dangerous, and look what happened. So that was in March, and here I am in October. I got fired this time last year, and we lost our house. Actually, it wasn't last year. This is something really crazy that I do, is that it feels like it was so recently. I say it was last year, but it wasn't 2011, it was 2010. Because I remember that's when the Giants won the World Series, and I was bawling my eyes out when they won the World Series, because it was the only thing I'd put hope and faith into, because so much bad stuff kept happening that I was like, if this goes wrong, that's it. And it was important for me because my grandpa was a big Giants fan, and he never got to see them win a World Series here, so that was a positive thing that changed my life dramatically, probably. It really helped me in those really troublesome times. It was the AT&T ballpark was a place that I could go. I didn't mind going there by myself. It was really cheap. I could just go there, get away for a couple hours, and just have fun. So that's another really big reason why I'm such an avid baseball fan. It's because it's where I turn to when I need distractions and I'm sad and stuff like that. So back to the fire, the only thing that was really unfortunate about that was since we got evicted, all of my stuff was there. And I didn't lose the things to me that were most important, like childhood things and photos and stuff. They got damaged, but I still have them, so I'm grateful for that. But since I've been ranting on about so much negative stuff, I do want to say something positive that I did get out of the fire experience was, I feel like, not that it was supposed to happen, but what I got from it was I learned to be grateful for the things I have, even just like tiny little things, just especially not having a job too. I've been trying so long to get a job since I lost my job. It's been almost like 6 months or something. I have never gone this long without a job, and it makes me feel so insecure and crappy about myself. Like, I feel so worthless without a job. And I've been trying so hard, but a lot of people are looking for jobs, so it's really hard. But I feel like not having a job and the fire has made me learn to be grateful for the little things that I have and the people that I have in my life. Nobody was hurt in the fire or anything, so that's what's most important. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, I used to have like a really nice wardrobe, you know, I could pick out outfits and, you know, had a variety of choices and just stuff I'd accumulated over the years. And now the only stuff that I have is a couple things his parents bought me after the fire, so I would have clothes and stuff like that. So basically I've been wearing the same clothes and wardrobe since March, which drives me crazy since, as you guys can tell, I like fashion and stuff like that. But, you know, I've learned that that's not really important enough. But that's also why I haven't been doing outfits of the days, because I show you guys the same stuff every now and then. But, you know, when I do get something or save up for something, I'm so grateful for it and so happy. So that's one thing that's positive, is I took a lot of things for granted before, like being able to go out to eat, do stuff with my friends. If I saw something at a store, it was no big deal if I wanted to buy it. You know, I feel like then I was living on top. You know, we had our apartment, I could buy whatever I wanted, I had a great job. Like, I think that's why I'm really upset about where I am in my life right now, is because it was just so perfect, just for a moment, and I am grateful for that. I'm so grateful for that. But it's really hard to be removed from that and just be limited just to something you're so not used to. I'm just not used to being so far away from my family because we had to move from a temporary house. I'm not used to not having a lot of stuff, like not even like material stuff. There's still personal items that I don't have that I need. Like, I got sick and I didn't have a thermometer and I needed that. Like, just even everyday important stuff that you take for granted. But once I do get a job, I know I probably will be a little bit retail fair, be happy at first, just because it's been so long and I need some new shoes and stuff like that. But I hope from all this I'll learn to not take things for granted anymore and to be a more grateful and less materialistic person. Not that I ever was really materialistic. I just, now obviously I see that there's tons of people that are in similar situations, or obviously worse than I'm in, so it could always be worse. Other things that have changed: last Christmas, my boyfriend, this is probably the best thing that happened, is he gave me a promise ring, and what it symbolizes is that we know we're gonna get married, and this is just his way of saying, you know, how much he appreciates me and loves me, and that he wants to be with me forever. But, you know, being in the situation we're in, he can't afford to get an engagement ring or anything. Not that I'm not a big, like, jewels person, but I really love my ring because it is a family heirloom from his family, so I think that has more meaning than a store-bought ring. I love my ring though, it's just so dainty. It's got platinum, a platinum setting, and then it has diamond in the middle, and then it has all these, I don't know what you would call that, but that was all hand done. And then you can see on the sides it has these like triangles, and in there's like these little, I think you can see it right there, I think it's a little diamond or something like that. But I love my ring so much, and you know, I even told him, I was like, if you want to borrow my ring and just re-give it to me in a special way, I really don't need a big fancy expensive engagement ring. But you know, it is in some ways an engagement ring or a promise ring, I guess, since he didn't officially propose, but more or less it was just his way of letting me know that he won't keep me waiting forever. So that was something obviously very positive, and our relationship has gotten a lot better since we don't have so much turmoil in our life, and it doesn't feel like it, but I know that things are slowly getting better. So I really hope that we will be able to get our own place and then finally talk about our future and things like that, because I really want to start a family really soon, and I really want to settle down. I know I'm pretty young, but that's just something I've always wanted, and I always knew that I'd probably be pretty young when I'm doing that. And he's 27, so he's 4 years older than me, so he's a little bit older and mature and closer to, I feel like I feel like I would be very, very content and happy with settling down, and I think he's at that stage in his life too, which is funny because I'm 23 and he's 27, but I guess it's just different with guys. Friendships have changed, some for the worst. I have a lot of friends that have developed problems, drug problems, drama, all sorts of stuff. That's been really hard, but through that I've just tried to be a supportive, less judgmental, just nice, caring person, because there's no point in me shit-talking people. There's no point in all that stuff. Is just so immature, and life is just so short that I just try to be the best friend and person that I can be now, because I feel like, well, what is the point of living life if you don't try your best? And personally, I get a lot of joy from being kind to others. I love being kind to others and giving to others and stuff. Like, genuinely, honestly, I'm not even saying this because it's the right thing to do. I honestly, genuinely, really love caring about and caring for other people. And I just think I have a lot of compassion for a lot of people, because I've been judged a lot and I've been really bullied. I had to leave my high school due to bullying. I had a lot of problems when I was younger. I was isolated, you know. I was a cutter, self-harmer. I contemplated suicide a lot. So in my life, I think I have come a long way from that. I still do suffer from depression and anxiety. Mostly just anxiety, I think, is my main issue. I just get really paranoid and anxious, and it'll just completely consume me, and it's just terrible. And my doctors are horrible people that don't understand that and continue to try and put me on these antidepressants that make me go crazy. They actually put me on Paxil, and it made me completely lose my mind. And now I understand why they say some of those things can make people more suicidal. Like, literally, I've said that I've thought about suicide before when I was younger, but I know that I never would have actually done it. Like, you know, being young and angsty, I know that I was like, fuck it, you know, I hate life, I'm so lonely, I'm so sad, why end it? But now that I have dealt with suicide personally and seen how badly it affects people's family and friends, the thought that I even thought that was just so selfish and ridiculous of me. But in that sense, back to the Paxil thing, that it made me really, like, literally want to kill myself. Like, if you had put a gun, like, handed me a gun, I would have. It's hard to explain. It just made me not myself. It made me have these crazy anger outbursts sometimes, and then sometimes be sad. It was just terrible, and it was the worst thing that probably ever happened to me in my life. So I've been really trying to be positive and happy, because those drugs don't work for me, and they just make me more depressed, I feel like. And I really think that my form of depression is a little bit more anxiety, brought on by anxiety. So my doctors are just not, it's just horrible, and they say really mean things to me too. Other than that, I think I've matured a lot as a person. Like I said, I've done a lot of really immature things. I've talked behind people's backs, I've shit-talked people, even my closest friends. I'm not even gonna lie, I still probably do it sometimes that I don't catch myself, but I really try my best not to be judgmental, and just, you know, it hurts me when people talk about me, so why wouldn't it hurt them if I was talking about them? So I really try not to do that. So overall, I have come very far in my life. I've matured a lot, and I think I'm a lot more of a considerate, kinder person. However, I'm not gonna lie, I still do suffer with very severe depression and anxiety. I get nervous a lot, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm not happy at this point in my life. It's not just not having a job, it's also not being settled into the home. We've been here for 6 months, but it just doesn't feel like home, and it still feels weird to me. And I miss my family. I don't get to see them as much, and it really, really brings me down, especially because my grandma's getting older, and my father figure has cancer. But I do just try and live every day to the fullest and be a positive person. I just try my hardest. That's all I can do. All I can do is keep going. I can't give up. There's no point in giving up. I think that would be the ultimate failure to myself and everyone in my life, is if I just gave up. Not saying like killing myself, but just threw a pity party and was just like, whatever. I mean, I kind of feel like I have done that in a sense, because I have just been laying around and not doing anything, but I do want to be more productive, and I do want to do things with my life. I don't want to sit around and be lazy forever. So in that, I guess my goals have changed too. I wanted to be a makeup artist for like ever. That's what I was dead set on doing. I was like, that's what I'm going to do. And now I've actually taken a thought to doing social work, and I think that's what I'm going to pursue instead of makeup, because I can do makeup here on YouTube and do tutorials and stuff like that. Whereas social work, I would actually be helping people in things that actually really matter. Of course, making people feel beautiful on the outside is important too, but you know, being someone that's struggled with a lot of depression and hurt, I just don't want other people to feel that way, and I want to help them, especially with the things that I've experienced, and I can probably relate to a lot of people. I'm happy with myself as a person. I think that I've matured a lot, and I really, really like the person that I'm maturing into be. That doesn't mean I'm happy with my life. I love my boyfriend to death. He's amazing. He has absolutely nothing to do with the reason why I'm upset. He is probably one of the only reasons why. He always knows how to make me smile, and he's such an amazing person. So without him, I really don't know where I would be in my life right now. So, I mean, ultimately, he's just the shining light in my eyes, and I haven't shown him on here before, but if you guys are interested, maybe I'll do the girlfriend-boyfriend tag. Let me know if you want to see that. If not, I'll probably just add him in some random video later where you guys can actually see him, because he's so sweet and he's so funny. He's such a nice guy, and he gets along. He's just one of those people that just gets along with everyone, and everyone loves him, so hopefully you guys will too. But I'm just not going to try and think of any more negative stuff that's affected my life, and I'm just going to try and keep moving on and just try my best and my hardest, and I really hope that I'll find whatever it is I need to find to be happy.